My hope for the next millennium is a complete unified theory. For the last 10,000 years, we have been striving to understand how the universe operates and what laws it obeys. Progress was slow at first, but it has been speeding up, particularly in the last 100 years. At the rate we are now advancing, I am quite sure we will discover a complete theory of the basic laws during the next millennium, and probably during the next century. It would be a tremendous achievement for the human race, and it would give us a basis to understand why the universe is the way it is, and why we are here.
I expect to see in the next millennium the development of great interstellar starships capable of carrying humans to the nearest stars at speeds approaching the speed of light. By that time, we will have surely spread ourselves throughout the solar system. We will have settlements on the moon, on Mars, on the asteroids, and distant outposts on the moons of the giant planets. And we will know around which nearby stars exist Earth-like planets capable of supporting human life. So we will be ready for new adventures and new homes, and we will know where to find them. A near light speed starship, from the moment it is created, will breach the presently insurmountable distances that separate the stars from each other, and at that point, all the habitable planets orbiting around them will be ours for the asking. We will become true interstellar travelers, and human settlement of the galaxy will begin.
The tea bag was invented by accident in New York in 1908 by a tea and coffee merchant named Thomas Sullivan. Sullivan had decided to package loose tea in small hand-sewn silk bags as an inexpensive and convenient way to distribute tea samples to his customers. To his great surprise, his customers thought they were meant to brew the tea in the silk bags, rather than removing the contents, thus giving birth to the tea bag. He recognized a natural marketing opportunity and went into full-time tea bag production. In 1952, the Lipton Company improved on Sullivan's tea bag invention with the introduction of the flow-through tea bag, which had 4 brewing sides rather than 2, allowing boiling water to reach the tea more easily. Modern telecommunications began in 1837 in Britain. when William Cooke, a retired army officer, and Charles Wheatstone, professor of experimental philosophy at King's College London, invented the first telegraph. It was based on the discovery that an electric current could move a compass needle. After reducing the alphabet to 20 letters, Cooke and Wheatstone set up 5 compass needles that could turn either left or right. This instrument, although innovative, never took off because it was just too expensive. Meanwhile, in the United States, Samuel Morse revolutionized telegraphy by reducing the alphabet to a simple binary code of dots and dashes, and the Cooke and Wheatstone telegraph was consigned to history.
A foggy night in Yorkshire in 1934 inspired one of the world's most remarkable inventions. As Percy Shaw steered his car towards a precipice that foggy night, he narrowly averted disaster when he saw the reflection of his headlights in the eyes of a cat sitting at the side of the road. The natural world's ability to harness light motivated Shaw to invent a road reflector, what's now known as the cat's eye, the guiding light in traffic safety. Inside the cat's eye, as in most animals' eyes, there's a screen covered with cells that respond to light. But not all of the light hits the cells. Behind the screen is a reflective layer, something like a mirror, which throws the light that missed on the first pass back at the cells. Even some of this reflected light slips back out again, and it's this that we see when a cat's eyes shine back at us from the side of the road. The Hubble Space Telescope, an Earth-orbiting astronomical telescope designed to observe the heavens from above the interference and turbulence of the Earth's atmosphere, was launched on April the 25th, 1990. It's about the size of a bus and carries a complement of 6 scientific instruments, which can make observations in the ultraviolet, visible and near-infrared parts of the spectrum. The first servicing mission took place in 1993 and corrected problems with a spherical aberration in the primary mirror, replaced the wobbly solar arrays, and replaced several failed hardware components. Stars seen from Earth seem to twinkle, but the Hubble Space Telescope sees them much more clearly. Distant galaxies from Earth look like this, but Hubble sees them like this.
The scanner works like this. A beam of X-ray photons passes from inside this frame through a thin slice of the body, and sensitive detectors down there calculate the proportion of X-ray photons that have been absorbed and therefore how dense the tissue is throughout that slice. Once the scanner's been done, the X-ray source rotates 10 degrees and another beam passes through the body. This is done again and again until the unit has passed in a 180-degree arc around the patient. So far, nothing particularly revolutionary, but the scanner is connected to a computer. The X-ray readings are converted by the detector into a mathematical form which the computer can interpret as pictures like that. That is what computerized tomography is about. Tomai, the Greek for slices of the body, converted into computer graphics.
Dolly was the first mammal cloned from a cell from an adult animal. She was derived from cells that had been taken from the udder of a 6-year-old Finn Dorset ewe and cultured for several weeks in the laboratory. Individual cells were then fused with unfertilized eggs from which the genetic material had been removed. 277 of these reconstructed eggs were cultured for 6 days in temporary recipients. 29 of the eggs that appeared to have developed normally were implanted into surrogate Scottish blackface ewes. One gave rise to Dolly some 148 days later, on July the 5th, 1996. The team of geneticists who produced Dolly at the Roslin Institute near Edinburgh was led by Dr. Ian Wilmot.
I don't think we can begin to estimate what new understanding this will offer, not only for normal health, but also for human diseases.
In these days of technologically advanced clubs and golf balls that fly further than ever before, the superfit professionals often make mincemeat of par 4s measuring 410 yards. However, the 18th hole at Hong Kong Golf Club is regarded as one of the best par 4s in Asia. There's a tight fairway, subtly protected by bunkers on both its left and right. And even if you find the right-hand side of the fairway, overhanging branches might well block your second shot, which has to clear a large lake in front of the green. Spain's Jose Maria Olazabal encountered such problems on the closing hole of the 2001 Hong Kong Open. But the twice Masters champion confidently struck a 5-iron under the branches, and after his miracle shot had come to rest inches from the flag, he tapped in to capture the title in breathtaking fashion. Relaxation is the byword for Phuket, the paradise island in the Andaman Sea that's so popular with tourists the world over. But there's nothing to relax you when you walk onto the tee of the 194-yard 14th hole on Blue Canyon Country Club's Canyon Course. This delightful course was cleverly designed by Yoshikazu Kato on land formerly employed as a rubber plantation and tin mine. The par 3, which provides majestic mountain views, swoops downhill towards a scenic lagoon and features a natural island green. With such a small target, the hole calls for both the power of positive thinking and a well-struck iron, the number of which can vary greatly depending on the strength of the wind. No pin position is simple, but back left is downright scary, even on the calmest day in this verdant valley.